Hey, hey, well, what do you know? It's that time again. I was looking for my Disney hat, but I couldn't find it. I wanted so badly to wait till October 1st to upload this because I figured that would be, really the only acceptable day of the year to upload a video of this magnitude. But, I just couldn't wait. I just couldn't blasted keep it in. So here we go. Um, yeah, so top 10 attractions at Magic Kingdom, in my opinion. Magic Kingdom, let's just cut right to the sandwich. Okay, so number 10. Number 10 is going to be Jungle Cruise. So this one, I mean, for me, it's just like, it's such a simple concept, but they go so far with it, It's like, you got like animatronics and stuff like that. You go in I mean, the queue's not that impressive. I think that, they could use a lot of work on that, like make it more, like do more with it. But but yeah, the ride itself, it's nice and long. It's different every time, not the track, but it's one of those kind of things. It's like the Magic Kingdom equivalent of like a Kilimanjaro Safaris at Animal Kingdom. So I like that. I think it's good. It deserves to be on the list. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make this all one part, so we'll hurry it along. All right, number 9, I'm going to give to It's a Small World. And I know a lot of you are probably very confused about this one. Wait a minute, what's hardcore about It's a Small World? Come on, that's not a thrill ride. Oh, what, and Jungle Cruise is? I mean, come on. I think you're noticing a pattern here, boat rides. But hey, hold your horses, okay? It's just two. It's just two. Two boat rides. Um, but this is even more of an example of that, something simple that they just took and ran with it. I mean, it's probably the simplest ride in the whole park, but oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. It's nice and long. You get the whole. It's cute. It's great. It's like it's a Disney quality thing. They take like a little like street corner carnival kind of theme and just take it to the next level. They turboize it. Um, so yeah, It's a Small World it's a great ride, honestly. I love everything about it. It's very visually appealing. There's stuff to look at. There's so many layers. Like it's 360 degrees of like dolls and clowns and fun stuff. And it's all old fashioned too. They're not like animatronics. They're like real like puppet looking thing. Well, that might be animatronics. I don't know. But the point is, it's real fun. Um, there's enough money in that ride to build a second one of them. Um, it's just the boat, the ride, the song. You gotta love the song, and they translate in all the different languages. And are there some stereotypes on that ride? Sure, but hey, come on, it's meant for kids, all right? You gotta teach kids racism at an early age, all right? But yeah, it's a good ride. I like it. Um, I'm really the one who stands up for it among my family and the people I go with. But it's a small world enthusiast, so yes. So that's my number 9 pick. Okay, moving right along here. Number 8, I'm going to give to. What did I say it was going to be? I rehearsed these beforehand. Number 8 is the Seven Dwarves Mine Train. And I know that's a big oof to a lot of you. You were probably expecting that to be number 1 or at least on the top 3 or geez, at least the top 5, right? Well, I do like this ride. I like it even more than It's a Small World, and that's not just a small little thing. I mean, it's not a small world accomplishment. But a Seven Dwarves I always call it Seven Dwarves Academy for whatever reason. I don't know where that came from. But the Seven Dwarves Mine Train, to me, okay, it's kind of a ripoff of Big Thunder, to be honest. It's like having Spider-Man and Transformers both at Universal, but at least those are in two different parks. These are both in Magic Kingdom, so it's just blatant. It's very obvious. Big Thunder's the better of the two. Spoiler alert, that one's still coming up. Um, but Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is like a tamer version of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which is already a family coaster, so I didn't think we needed to water that down anymore. But it doesn't reach very high of a top speed. It's like what 15 miles per hour. I mean, come on. I can run faster than that. No, but it's For what it is, it's good. One thing I like about it is that you can rock the cars. I mean, yeah, there's a 50% chance of it breaking down if you do that, but still, it's fun. That's one thing you got to give it credit for. Like I honestly think all roller coasters should have a feature like that, where you press a button or stomp a pedal and like, oh, the individual car flips around upside down now or something, or you get to rotate it so now you're facing backwards. Like I just like that kind of stuff. I think that's cool to have like individually moving parts. Um, but yeah, there's the whole thing in that you gotta slam on the brakes for the middle part. You go into the room and you sing the song and all that. It's a lot more, I think, child oriented um, than something like Big Thunder. But I just didn't know that the park needed that. If they were going for like a Harry Potter Escape from the Gringotts kind of thing, where it's like a 3D like screen ride or something. I can't believe I'm saying this, but honestly, I would have rather it been a 3D screen ride with like roller coaster elements like that, like have a drop here, have a little high speed turn, a dark tunnel thing, whatever. But it's a really odd ride. It wants to be a thrill ride, but it's not. But again, I really like it. The part of it that is a thrower, you got like a good 90 seconds of good stuff out of it. The middle part, it could be better. It gets old, but they tried. They did a lot. But yeah, it's a pretty good ride. It's number 8. All right, moving on here. Number 7, I'm going to give it to Haunted Mansion. This one, obviously me, being a fan of the macabre and so on and so forth, you got included. But in my original draft of this list, actually, I didn't have it on here. I don't remember the original draft by heart, but just that it was an honorable mention. Um, as a ride itself, it's nothing too innovative. This ride system's kind of like a Under the Sea Journey, Little Mermaid, or Seas with Nemo and Friends, or whatever kind of a ride. It's one of those constantly moving things. You get in the little chairs, and they're 2 to 3. But this one, it's really the theming that wins it over. I mean, it's really impressive, especially considering how old it is. Um, they utilize some impressive technology. They put a lot of work into that, a lot of money into that. And the queue too. I think the cemetery thing in the front is excellent, and the pre-show. I mean, it's kind of cheesy, but that's the point, and the ride. My only thing with that is that it breaks down every blasted time I'm on it. It stops at least once. It's even worse than Spaceship Earth. At least that's like hit or miss. The Spaceship Earth's probably going to break down when you're on it, but Haunted Mansion definitely will. So it's like, what, a 6-minute ride? Yeah, you're going to want to plan about 10 minutes for it. Just for the ride. Like the pre-show and everything, like even with Fast Pass, it's not going to be less than 20. Um, but I'm all right with that. It's just kind of annoying when you're just getting into it and then we apologize, but or no, what's the message? It's like some meddlesome ghouls have gotten into in what I don't know. It's like the narrator says it. Um, but yeah, no, it's great. They got the little like incline thing. Like the track is neat. Um, it's a fun ride. It's a good length. There's a lot of cool features on it. There's a lot of different parts. That's one thing. It's not like the same thing over and over again. Each room you go into is different. There's the room with the crystal ball thing. There's the room where it's like you go on the elevation. You go through different scenes. So that's one thing I feel that they're really creative with. And honestly, I think it's a great ride. It's a classic Disney ride. All right, number 6, I'm going to give to Astro Orbiter, something I can guarantee is that you will not find on anyone else's list, because most people think that the ride sucks, and with good reason. I mean, I understand why. Like, oh, really? Astro Orbiter, huh? Yeah, number 6, above the blasted mine train that people wait 2 hours for. You're gonna put Astro Orbiter, which you can also wait 2 hours for, just because of how absurdly slow it is. But you know, okay, all right, I understand. I understand. Your complaints are well founded. Um, but I'll tell you what, go on this ride in the winter when it's already a little chilly outside. Go on it. Go on it then, and you'll feel the ice cold breeze in your face. Some people aren't a fan of that, but I am. I love sticking my head out a car window when it's like 40 degrees outside. It's nice. Um, but the ride itself is good. The process around it, I can't say the same about it. Um, you go in these lift things. Yeah, first of all, they give you these completely pointless plastic cards that are different colors. I have no like, why bother even giving those out? You have them literally just for the time you're in the elevator, and then when you get out, you hand them back. Like, it's one thing if, okay, maybe this is just a souvenir they're giving you, maybe it has something to do with seating arrangement, but no, it's just completely random. Like, why bother with that? But you wait on the ground before the elevator for a long time. You'd be like, oh, okay, there's like 30 people in line. All right, that's not too bad. Oh, isn't it? Okay, well, you're still gonna wait about 10 minutes because the elevator takes like 6 people at a time, and it only comes up like every 3 minutes. The worst part is it's a 1 to 1.5 minute ride, and you're always gonna wait 10 to 15 minutes for it, even if it looks like there's not many people in line, and even if there's nobody on the ground, there's probably people up top, so you're still gonna wait, for 2 or 3 revolutions. So it's just an incredibly slow process. They only have one ride operator where, you got these other rides where there's not even a safety harness. Like It's a Small World, for example. They have like 3 operators. They have someone, in the booth up there. They got someone, loading them in. And it's like there's no safety harness or anything. All you have to do is literally press a button to make it go. But with Astro Orbiter, you actually need to go around to each individual rocket and check the seat belts and everything. There's only one person, and there's at least a dozen rockets, and they have to go all the way around the whole circle. It's a very tedious process. Um, but yeah, so that's my main complaint with it, is that it's just too slow and it's too short. But the ride itself is great. It's like Dumbo or Magic Carpets of Aladdin or anything like that, but on steroids. It's way faster and it's way taller. This thing is very tall. Do not go on it if you're afraid of heights. Even if you stay all the way down, it doesn't matter. You're already, you take an elevator to get up to the platform. It's very high in the air, but it's exhilarating. You get to see the whole park. I've never been on it during the day, actually. I've only ever been on it at night. But I'm a sucker for space-themed things. Tomorrowland's my favorite part of Magic Kingdom, and especially Tomorrowland at night, and especially on a cool/cold night, because it's always cold in space. All right, so yeah, on to our top 5 now. Number 5 is a surprising pick. Well, if were it not for Astro Orbiter, it would be the odd one out. Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. This one I feel like is sort of a forgotten. Well, no, it's not. It's not exactly forgotten, but it's not very talked about. I think it's underrated actually. And while some I know call it, cheesy or cheap, like, oh yeah, that doesn't take talent. You just like pick on people from the audience. That's cheap. Whatever. I disagree. I think it shows off a lot of good improv skills. I mean, first, I'm getting ahead of myself here. If you're not familiar with it, and I wouldn't be surprised if you weren't. But the Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor is basically, you go in there. The pre-show's entertaining too. The queue's not bad. Like, you got stuff to do while you wait. And so then you go in to the theater. It's like a, I don't know, 15-minute show. And you get to they have the jokes from that the real people, the guests submit. I guess it was meant to be while you wait in line back when there was a long line for it, but really, it's just people that submit them online. And they filter through them and pick which ones they want to showcase and all of that. Um, but they have live actors, voice actors, like at least 2 of them, that just like they monitor the audience, and it's a whole improv comedy thing, and it's completely different every time. They have animation on the screen, but it's minimal. It's not 3D or anything. It's just like, just minimal. You'll see what I mean when you see the show. But they have these things that look like lights, and they fooled me the first time. They look like lights on the seats. Yeah, no, those are cameras. They have cameras on literally everyone. They're hidden. You don't even know about them. You think they're lights. But no, they're cameras, and they'll just randomly put someone on the screen and put like captions underneath them, or they'll have someone talk about like, oh, this guy over here, like so, and anybody can be picked. I've never been picked yet, nor is anyone in my party, but they get a decent amount. They get like 10 people per show, so that's cool. And yeah, it's just a fun time, a good little laugh. Yeah, I think they do pretty well. It's not too juvenile either, though. That's the thing. That's the one thing I was concerned about. But no, it's pretty well. It's a nice family comedy for all ages, even adults. So that's good. All right, number four, I'm giving to Splash Mountain, and in a rough draft of this list, in an earlier draft, it was higher than number four. But then I remembered that the top three, the top four have to be in this order, basically. So Splash Mountain, like I said, now in the top four, we're on like just about the 10 out of 10 attractions right here. Splash Mountain is, oh, don't even get me started on it. I mean, this thing's like, Splash Mountain, these top four here are on the same plane of existence as Tower of Terror or Rock and Roller Coaster or something like that. I mean, they're that good. Splash Mountain, is my opinion, of the closest thing Disney's ever done so far in September 2019 to an all-in-one ride. All they're missing is screens, which is good. They don't need screens. They're exempt from that. But everything else they got a little bit of a thrill ride thing going. It's a slow-moving ride. It's a boat ride. It's a little bit of a water ride. A little bit of a thrill ride. They got animatronics. They got a sing-along. It's nice and long. You go through different scenes. It's got a story. It's got a soundtrack. It's just like, normally they take one of those elements and they stick with it, and they usually do it well, but they take one of them, maybe two. But this one has like five. Well, let's count them. Boat ride, water ride, thrill ride, animatronics, story, musical. Okay, six. So we got six different things going on, and it's the longest ride in the park, and were it not for Spaceship Earth, it'd be the longest in all of the four parks, with a runtime of either 13 or 15 minutes. So it's very impressively long. It doesn't go on too long or anything like that, but it's not rushed by any means. It's nice and slow paced. I think it fits perfectly in with Frontierland and the whole theme and everything. It's themed after Song of the South, which I know nothing about, so obviously I'm not familiar with any of the characters or anything besides, from the times I've been on the ride. But it's just a really fun, wholesome ride. Um, you know, I don't know what else to say about it. I just think it's really good. Not many people in my family like it because they consider it a water ride for some reason. Okay, here's the thing. I can't. Oh, blast it! I can't remember now if it's the front or the back that gets wet. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say it's the back. It might be the front. I don't know, but either the front or the back, two rows. I think it's the back. The two rows get wet in two specific parts of the ride, where the other half doesn't. Now this ride, you're actually not going to get too wet on. Just bring like a light towel and you'll be fine. It looks very intimidating. They have these like water cannon spray machines by the splash. You're actually more likely to get wet watching the ride than you are on the ride, because they do that, with like the fountains on that big drop. They have which by the way, it's only 50 feet, so it's not a big deal. But they have the cannons, there where the walkway is. That's the most menacing part. I mean, the ride, it's not. You'll get about as wet on that ride as you will on Jurassic Park River of Adventure at Universal's Islands of Adventure, which we'll get to Universal. But it's not really that much of a water ride. Now, in the summer, on particularly hot days, they do crank it up a little bit, but usually it's not. Like if you go on it in the evening or in the morning or in the winter, or even depending on where you're sitting, it's not that bad. You're not going to get that wet. So yeah, I didn't think I'd get through them this quickly. But yeah, I feel like I'm gonna look back on this tomorrow and just say like, oh man, I wish I would have made this comment or did this joke or something. But all right, number 3 is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which in most of the drafts, Splash Mountain was above Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. But then I just remembered how blasted fun that ride is. Like it's just so fun. It's like compared to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It's not a comparison. I mean, it just blows it out of the water. sure, it's not as like, cheerful and whatever. Like there's not, animatronics on it or screens or anything. There's not screens on the mine train, but there's not, animatronics. It's not a sing along, there's nothing like that. But it's still pretty wholesome, I feel. It's got a certain feel to it, If first of all, it fits perfectly in Frontierland, but also, it just has a vibe to it that I just like. Going through the queue, it's like an old fashioned like sawmill's the wrong thing, but like I don't know, just one of those mining company, I guess. I mean, I know that's what they're going for, but I don't know. I mean, and also I think it's creative, the kind of maze-like structure it has, where it's like, oh yeah, you can see the ride. Yeah, still got 20 minutes of walking. Like they kind of loop you around. I like that kind of stuff. Not so much standing still in it, but walking through it, I think is fun. Um, More so in the standby, but even the fast pass queues, decent length. Um, but yeah, so the you get to the train. They got two loading tracks, so it goes a little quicker. Um, the ride itself, it's nice and long too. You got three. I'm spoiled too because that was one of the first roller coasters I went on, so I assumed all roller coasters were that long, and was disappointed when I found out that most aren't, and that things like that are the outliers. But yeah, it's three sets of chain lifts and drops, each one being declining heights. The first one's the biggest one, but man, that's a crunchy chain lift. That chain lift sounds like turbo popcorn in an even turboer microwave. Um, and also I like how they had the bats up there for Halloween, I think last year, and they just left them up all year. I was on it in like May, and there were bats on the ride. I think that's cool. It's a fun addition to it. It reminds me of Wario's Gold Mine from Mario Kart Wii, uh, which I played the crap out of as a kid. Which is Nintendo, which is not Disney. All right. Well, but the point is, it's a fun ride. Okay, it's a fun ride. It's got a great runtime. I like it especially at night, but during the day is cool too. It just seems to go faster at night. Also, the back. Go in the back. It's a lot funner, faster. It whips you around. On most rides, and obviously this one's no exception. One thing I like to do is keep the lap bar as loose as they'll let me on purpose. Like you can take up space if you want to. You can like make it seem like it's a snug fit when it's actually very loose. And then once they give the thumbs up and the ride starts to move, I return to my normal position. You realize just how much slack it is, but just tight enough to get it to lock. And then I'm thrown around and I'm bouncing out of the seat and everything and sliding around. And I think it adds to the experience. I really like that kind of stuff. I mean, good thing I'm skinny for that to happen. But yeah, it's a real fun ride. That back seat, if you go on it on the back at night, it's so thrilling. It's a great ride. It's outdoors. You feel the wind in your face and everything. And that's great. And were it not for these top two, it would be a good number one pick. All right, number two. And this was going to be number one until I remembered that my number one pick was a thing. Um, Number two. This one, I'm trying to compare this to Rock and Roller Coaster and determine which one's better. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say this, but I think this one's even better than the Rock and Roller Coaster. Even though it doesn't go upside down and it's not I mean it's long. Yeah, it's better. Space Mountain. Space Blasted Mountain. Holy crap. 1975, ladies and gentlemen. This ride opened in 1975. Woo. It's a simple structure if you look at it, if you look at the track like with the lights on, which I've only seen once. It's not very appealing. It's just, a steel roller coaster, very basic track looking thing. But that just goes to show that's the power of Disney magic, people. You can take an unappetizing track like that and turn it into something truly magical. A number two pick on an exquisite, eloquent Mr. Everything Man list. Which, honestly, I think that was just their goal. That 44 years later, they were going to end up on this list. I think that that's what they were going for with this, because they sure nailed it. They knocked it out of the park with this one. Um, oh, I love everything about this ride. The building, it's such a unique structure. Like it looks like one of the Disney resorts or something. Like a space station thing. Like I wish they still did stuff like that. That's good old vintage Disney back when they like put so much effort into everything they did. And don't get me wrong, they still put effort into everything they do, but now it's all about like theming things after like movies and cartoons and stuff like that. Space Mountain's all original. It's like a straight up old school Epcot, ride. Now that I think about it, that Space Mountain would be great in Epcot. Ooh. But I can see they wanted it to be sort of like Disneyland, with their Space Mountain. And I've never been to Disneyland, so I can't compare the two. But you know, Space Mountain. I love the building, and I love Starport. It's an original thing. Oh, the queue. Oh, I love the crap out of that queue. There's a game to play in the standby line. I've never played it, but it looks cool. I just love the pattern there, the walking that you do, the cheesy music, but it works. It's like a few notes long, but I love it. You go onto the railroad tracks, and it's such a simple concept, such a simple cue, but I love it. It's cheesy, it's space themed. It's like you're on the Starship Enterprise or whatever, but just without all the gadgets and gizmos. And so you get there, you got the loading platform. I love that noise it makes, the chain lift. It's like rattly, but not a dangerous rattly. It's just like an exciting kind of rattly. Like it's a noise that gets you in the mood for the ride, And it's an exciting structure, You sit one by one, so, you can't hold the hand of the person next to you or anything like that, Not that I do that anyway, but you know what I mean. So you just go single file, you got three of them attached, and then there's six, and and you get and the thing, and yay and wow, it's a great ride. That's what I'm trying to say. You got the double loading tracks. You get in and it's a nice long ride. Okay, all right. And now let's talk about the ride itself. Okay, so you go in and you go up the chain lift. It's two tracks. It's a 2-in-1. It's complete darkness, which I love. You can't see the ride itself. Man, I've always said I want a Space Mountain. If I ever have a mansion, I want a Space Mountain in my house, in my backyard, because, or something similar to it, like just an all indoors in the dark roller coaster. I'm just a fan of that. Like I just want a room in my mansion that's just that, that it's like a hole in the ceiling for the top floors, and it's just this track, maybe just like a spiral ride thing, but it's great. They got little planet stickers and stuff like that. There's a 2 tunnels you go through. It's great. I think the standby version, or at least the one on the left, is a little bit longer than the track on the right. So if you have the option for whatever reason, request the one on the left. But yeah, it's a great ride. I'm kind of running out of time here, but Space Mountain. Show me. This is an open challenge to all of you. Show me someone who does not like Space Mountain for whatever reason. Unless it's like a valid medical thing, like, they have a heart condition or whatever, and they can't go on it, or they're handicapped, whatever. But, like, if they can go on it, but they just don't like it, take them to me, all right? All right, show them, send them my way. They will like Space Mountain by the time I'm done with them, all right? Send them to Disney World, to blasted Magic Kingdom in Orlando, or in Florida with me, and I will take them on Space Mountain. I will talk them through the whole thing. I will narrate it for them. I will get them to laugh, and I will get them to associate it with a positive memory, and they will want to go on it again. Yeah, it's the power of Space Mountain. All right, let's get to honorable mentions real quick. We're going to speed run them here. Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover, Power of Magnets, boom, love it. Don't have time to talk about it. Pirates of the Caribbean, another boat ride well done. 8 minutes, long run time. It's great. I love the feeling of it. I love the aesthetic. I love the water cannons, the little drop thing. It's an excellent ride. What other honorable mentions I want to put up here? Hall of Presidents and PhilharMagic, two great shows, very different, but you know that's one thing I like about them. Don't have time to talk about those either. All right, number one pick. Pause the video, see if you could guess what it is. All right, I'm gonna tell you now. Happily Ever After, the fireworks. You're like, oh, gasp! What? What's going on? I did. All right, listen. It shouldn't come as a surprise to you. Fantasmic is my favorite thing in all of Disney World. So this is probably second. This is probably second only to Fantasmic. I love fireworks. I love every part about this. I love the fireworks. I love the you know, everything else. I mean, the thing they do with the castle and the animation. I mean, this one, folks, is worth getting a front row seat. You don't want to just get there after it starts and have the crappy like thing and security waving sticks in your face and all that. You want to get on the main street. You want to get there 10, 15 minutes before showtime and stand in front of the castle for this one. It's a truly magical thing. Like with Fantasmic, don't even record it because that takes away from the magic. You know, you just gotta experience it for yourself. You know, it's truly a phenomenal show. It's something to remember for a long, long time, and yeah, happily ever after. It's I would say it's the best of the exclusively fireworks shows, but I think it's just that and Illuminations are really the only two firework exclusive shows in all of Disney World right now. I believe because there's not an Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios isn't. But anyway, that's the list. Yeah.